begins. Good. So we need to figure out how to do this. We can do something like this with a fence and stuff around the house. Definitely some trees and clouds. This doesn't look too threatening, right? This looks a little more
ghosty.
Yep. Something like this. So when we're looking up at it, it looks a little ominous or bad. So maybe start out by doing a hill for it. So I'll just open the file. Oh, it's yes, I'm recording it. So it should be there. Ooh, interesting. It's acting weird after I turned on DX11. Okay, anyway. See, it has nice features here with small shading and stuff. So to create a hill, I need to have a plane, and I have to sort of create an area where the house is. So what I can do here is I can just start shaping out the base of it. For instance, using the move tool, if I then press the B button, I turn on soft selection. So if I select the vertex here, for instance this one, I can hold the B button to change the area of influence. Something like that. So go edge, double click the edge, it'll select the whole edge, and then just turn up the, so that will be something like that. And then I'll drag this down. This is just creating the base for the haunted hill thing. So maybe something like that. And then I'll just make this slightly smaller and pull this up. Something. It's a really big hill right now, right? But this is just toying around with it a bit. Also, I'll need more detail on here. You can see the problem is if I do this too close, I will tend to remove the ground from the house, and that's not good. So I'll just work with this. Just go edge, double click that, perhaps scale that out a little bit. Yes. Move this up a little bit, perhaps select this one here and shift select that one, and shift select that one, and shift select that one, and move that up a little bit. Do the same thing here. So get something that looks a little like this. This looks weird, but never mind. And turn off the soft selection with just hitting the B key, and just use the scale tool here to straighten this out a little more. This is not too bad. So just grab a few edges here to pull them down. For instance here. So vertex. So that's one way of just doing this shaping out of the area. Something like this. So now we have the house up there on the hill, right? This plane here is pretty rough. So I'll start to subdivide that. Simply go to the smooth node here, mesh, and then smooth. And you can see that subdivides it, and it also smooths the actual surface. I can, on a smooth node here, I can change how detailed it should be, so I can make more divisions if I like. Oh, that's weird. Oh. Anyway, and I can change the continuity here as well. So you can see if I turn that to 0, it'll keep the same shape as before, but add divisions. Or I can do something in between like this, so it still has a little bit of a shape to it. It's actually not too bad. And then I can add just another smooth on top of that, there, and perhaps turn down the continuity in that one as well. Good. So I have this. That is actually quite okay. And if I like, I can move this around here, perhaps just turn it like so. So the house will be up there somewhere. That's right. Perhaps this is perhaps a little better. Okay. If I want to create more detail on this map here and make it more uneven.
Looks like only blank.
Yeah, I was about to say.
Yes, it's wonderful, isn't it? I can just select it, and in my mesh tools there's this thing called Sculpt Geometry tool, and if I click the option box here, I get this thing here. Right now I have reflection turned off. So if I hold the B key again, you can see I can create a brush size, and I can set it to different things. Right now it's set to relax. I can set it to push and pull. So if I pull here, you can see that it's difficult because it's so big. You can see it pulls out the surface.
Oh.
So you can use that to create.
Not that much it pulls.
No, but I can change the max displacement here, so it'll be a little more work. Okay, so I can just go over this and start adding some pieces here and there, so that it will make it not quite as detailed as it was, or or quite as soft as it was. So this way I'll just build up a few bouncy bits. And if I hold the control key, it'll go the other way. So that's fairly good. Okay. So I'll probably want to actually scale this down a little bit. So just grab the whole model, go to the scale tool. You can see the lock is that it scales around this point at the top, so if I make it less uneven like so, it'll actually still stick to the house at the bottom. So something like this is not too bad. Good. So that's just a way of creating like a small hill. Or maybe that was too much. Just make it a little more. Yeah. This is good. Okay.
So we can also, just by doing that, also create like crazy hills.
Yes, I mean if you turn this on and you have enough subdivisions here, you can just set it to. I need to just select it first there, and then just make it like max displacement 50. And if you then do this, you can just make really.
Oh wow.
So this is.
A fortress.
Oh, this could actually be.
Because I think crazy
Under.
Haunted house, and it's just like this crazy hill.
Oh yeah, you can do that if you like.
I hope it is cool.
I'll just leave it here. It's a reasonable small hill thing that looks nice. Then of course this would have to have some sort of color, and I'll probably go with some dark green or something like that. So I'll just go in here and grab a Lambert and make that a really darkish green, something like that. Right. That seems to work fairly well, so I can look at it from down here. The next thing is that I probably want to add some detail. So for instance, if we look at some of these images, there's trees, a few bushes, maybe some grass. So there's different options here. And I think I want to add something like a fence or something like that. Anyway, to create trees and stuff, let's just save this as the main file here. There we go. Just do this as number 7. Okay. I'll select this plane. That is now my landscape, and I'll go to my rendering menu set, and there's this thing called paint effects, and I'll click make paintable. So that means that now this plane is where I do my brush strokes. So if I grab my paint effects menu here, and I'll for instance just take the one that does teapots. If I then start drawing teapots, okay, I probably need to go. You can see that it creates teapots on the surface. Maybe not exactly what I wanted, but you know. But you can see that the brush will follow the surface, at least. Now you can see it, right? So, what I need to do is find some good trees and bushes. So if I go to the window, General Editors, Wise Up, there's this thing here, and I can find something called tree meshes. There's different trees here, like birch, spring heavy, oak, white heavy.
What's that time thing?
It means that they have animation on them.
Oh.
So they can like...
Yes. They can wiggle in the wind, yeah. There's also standard tree things here where it's done slightly different. An alien tree. Ooh.
Well,
Yeah, let's try that.
alien?
Yeah, it's called alien tree. I don't know what it is. I'm just trying it. So for instance, just do that here. That looks weird. But also a little strange, right?
Looks like the ones in the Suits movies.
Yeah, it does.
Yeah.
They look weird. When I create something like a paint effects, I get this. There's a display quality for them, so I can turn that down, and you can see it just reduces how heavy it is on the viewport. And I can change something like sample density. So I'll just get one tree there. Then there's this thing called alien tree, which is the actual brush. And in here I can change something like the global scale, so I can change how big it is. And I can change a lot of different things like tubes and growth. So for instance, I want flowers on this, I get flowers on it, or branches. So I can do a couple of things. Okay, let's go back and grab one of the more regular trees. So I'm going to go with oak, white, heavy. That sounds good. Or maybe oak autumn. That's good. So I'll do an oak tree here. There we go. So I'll just drag it a little bit and then let go, and we get an oak tree. And I'll make this a good deal bigger. So it should be like at least there, right? And if this has to be really eerie, you may turn off the leaves if you like to create something like this. That looks fairly good, doesn't it?
Mm-hmm.
Have it up there, and maybe have another one behind the house as well. Make that really big. Turn off the leaves. So, well, maybe I can't even see it. Make it even bigger. Yeah, it's a really big tree. Well, it's actually quite nice. So something like that, and maybe another one over here. Also make it even bigger. Turn off the leaves, I'll just, to select this one, what I really need to do is select the little curve that is drawing it. So that's the curve here. And then I can change the size of this. So maybe this should be 20 as well. And I can also grab this curve and move it around. So if I move this, you can see I can move the tree. So I can move it to different locations. Actually, it might look, it's too big now. So move it down to there. And perhaps move it. Yes, that's what I'm going to do. Move it in here. Perhaps a little more out in front. To make sure that it's settled on the ground, I can just look from the from underneath the ground, and if it just sticks through a little bit, then it's fine. It's sitting there. So we have something like that. Then let's look at what's there for plants. So there's a plant mesh thing here. There's bushes, ferns, something called ground coverage, and other things. So I'll just go with the bushes, for instance, and then just draw a few of these. Yeah, they probably look kind of nice, and perhaps a few more around the house here. So you can just keep drawing and it'll make more of them.
It looks like salad.
Yeah, yeah.
You should put them closer to each other.
See, we have one problem with this, and that is that Mental Ray will not render this directly. So it's because of the way Mental Ray works. So to make this work with Mental Ray, we need in the end to convert all of our brushes to polygons for it to render. It's not that bad. I can, but then, for instance, animation will go away. So if I click this thing here, and I can go modify, convert, paint effects to polygons, and it'll create a polygon object. So you can see it's there. So now this is a polygon object that I can actually edit. I can go here and grab vertices, and I can move them around. And I can't do that with these here. There's no stuff to pull around. So I just need to go through these and do convert paint effects to polygons. And yeah, it has to do with the way the viewport works, because they have color anyway, but it's just the way it draws it. So just go repeat. Maybe I can select multiple of these. Actually, I didn't try that. Let's go do. I have quite a few here, and yeah, it worked on all of them, so that's good. So there we go, and then there's just this tree over here, and I think all of it is converted. The paint effects brush will actually still be there if you look in the outliner. I need to turn that one. You can see these are the brushes that does the paint effects. So when I select those, the models will turn purple to visualize that they are affected by whatever I have selected. But right now I have this. So let's go and see how that looks. So it's something like that. Let's just do a quick render of what that looks like.
A quick render?
Yeah.
I think that exists.
Yes, it does. It's just because you turned on volumes. Actually, I turned it on for you, but
Yes. And I don't know what it is.
I'll fix it. Okay, so this is a nice afternoon scene, as you can see. It looks quite nice, and we have a few bushes and stuff. Of course we will make this darker in the end, and change the look, but we get some nice shadows going across the house and stuff, so that also looks good.
It's really working.
What?
It's really working.
Yes, it is.
Yeah.
It is rendering a lot. If these trees start to look the same, you have a couple of options. In the brush you can actually change the parameters to change how it looks, so you can make really sick looking trees, or you can just rotate them so that they point in a different direction and the eye won't see them as being the same model. I'll just escape this render because it's doing fine. So you can see we have small bushes and stuff, and it looks kind of nice. What I'd like to do is do two things. I'd like to grab the edge of my my plane here and just scale that really big, like really big, so that as I'm rendering in here, it will catch the horizontal line, something like that. Okay. For instance, doing an image of the house from down here. Good. Another thing I'll add is some clouds, and in the same way as we did it with the paint effects, I'll open the visor, but in this case I'll go to what's called the fluid examples, and in the fluid examples there's something called clouds and fog, and there's some presets here. And I'll find the one called Stormy Clouds. I think that will fit the scene well. So what I do is I grab this and middle mouse button drag it to my scene. And there you go. You have a little cloud system. There you go. Looking nice. I just go to my outliner, and you can see that this cloud system is down here. I don't need the camera for it, but I'll grab the two cloud layers and I'll group them together, Control G, and just minimize that, and then I'll scale this up so that it makes sense. So it'll be something like this. I think that should work.
But it does make sense.
What?
It does make sense right now.
Yes, something like that. And then perhaps I need to find my light. I have a light here somewhere. There you go. And just look at that and rotate it down so that it's more of a nighttime look. Perhaps turn down the intensity a little bit, like there, and then see how that renders. Of course there will be a bit of tweaking of this image in the end in either Photoshop or compositing. So it doesn't have to look exactly like we want to at the end. We can always tweak things like the amount of color or the brightness and darkness and contrast in the image. But we need to have something that is close. Also, the clouds at the moment are perhaps a little too bright, but it seems to be okay. Of course, I probably need to add a few more plants, a bit of grass, and other things to just make the image more detailed. And then I think I'll add a little fence around it as well eventually. But right now we have this grey afternoon scene. Yeah, that's it. I can control the color here. There's this thing called color management in the render view directly, so I can change things like the exposure to darken it up. Right, I can use this to create a little more contrast.
It looks awesome. That doesn't look so good.
Oh, we can't see anything.
You can't see a thing.
Now that's,
Oh,
now
that's
that's
cool.
stunning.
So,
It looks like a photo.
so you can tweak
Go
the.
back, go back. Go back. Stop it. Oh, yeah, there.
There you go.
So you have this option of playing around with the color levels as well. I can see I have a little issue here with my my spikes here. For
Yeah,
some
that
reason it looks a little weird.
No one will notice.
I'll have to look into that. Anyway, so that's it for this session.